What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming by Crypto Capital Venture. What in the world is Bitcoin doing? Everybody twiddling their thumbs in crypto Twitter, crypto YouTube, Bitcoin trading sideways. In this video, I'm going to talk about it. But more importantly, I'm going to talk about why Bitcoin might finally be getting close to breaking out of this very boring consolidation pattern. What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for coming by. If you notice, I haven't done a video in a while. I just can't bear. I have so much going on. I can't bear to spend time doing videos over and over again when Bitcoin is trading almost at the same exact price. Interestingly enough, a lot of YouTube videos about Bitcoin seem to be getting pumpier and pumpier, and I just can't get into that. And I'm sorry, I know my channel has kind of stopped a little bit lately, but when Bitcoin gets moving, you can better believe I will always give updates on Bitcoin price and what's next. But everybody, if you're here right now and you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button because Bitcoin might finally be getting ready to move. To set the framework for this video, I just want to point something out. This is very important. I think this really is the macro look. This is what I enjoy doing for myself and for this channel, is really looking at what's going on in the macro charts. It's very simple. Bitcoin halving has happened. And we've had, this is like a month or so of pretty boring consolidation. You see it on the screen. You see those weekly candles. I'm pretty zoomed out, but you can see there's not much going on there. In the long-term scheme of things, you see a lot of big moves for Bitcoin all over the place. But this little move after Bitcoin halving, very boring. Want to point out last Bitcoin halvings. So here's back in 2016. Very boring, right? And this was a couple months, probably 2 to 3 months of Bitcoin not doing anything before finally entering the parabolic bull run that everybody remembers. And if we even go back to 2012, I can kind of bring it over here on the charts. 2012 halving in November. Even after that halving, Bitcoin, and I'm very zoomed out. It's almost hard to see, but just look at that. Bitcoin looking very boring on the weekly chart. And then what happened? Bitcoin exploded to the upside. I mean, we're talking about consolidation down here at $13 or so, and Bitcoin took off, after that very boring consolidation. So it's kind of a trend. It's become a trend. After Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin has consolidated. So nothing to be surprised about. There's really, there's nothing to really even dig into. This is what Bitcoin does. Many people have their theories of why that happens, but we know Bitcoin is consolidating after this last halving, and we know that most of the market is anticipating the bull market to come, to arrive. And we know also that in regards to what price point triggers the bull market, on this channel at least, we're looking at the Fibonacci, the bull market high to the bear market low. Everybody knows this if you've been watching this channel. It's up here. It's a doorway to the bull market. We still have a long ways to go. This is 16,000 or so down to 13,000. That's what we're aiming for. Now let's start digging into what's going on here. We have an obvious symmetrical triangle long term. This is the bull market high back here in 2017. We have this long-term symmetrical triangle, many people eyeing up. I want to just point this out. 73% to the apex of this triangle is right over here around September. Now, we've been using, and this is a site that I use. This is the pattern site. This is Bukowski. I use his patterns. I use his data. I use the research he's done in regards to these patterns, and they've worked really well in technical analysis on this channel. We know, and we cover this all the time because symmetrical triangles happen all the time on the shorter term on Bitcoin, but 73% of the way to the triangle apex, there is an upward breakout 60% of the time, right? And this has really almost proven true as we've done technical analysis over the years, namely tracking symmetrical triangles. So here's a huge symmetrical triangle. We're not quite yet at 73% to the apex of the triangle. However, we're getting very close. It can happen before, it can happen after. That's kind of the average in regards to Bukowski's research and his data that he's collected. But we are obviously, clearly getting close to a breakout. Now, this can go one of two ways. We can be retesting this lower trend line in the next couple months, right? We're talking $6,000, $7,000 for a higher low, or we could be testing the upper trend line in the next couple months too. This could be days or weeks away as well. Keep that in mind. But we're talking about this upper trend line is only $10,000 to $11,000. We are right below it. And Bitcoin, in a matter of minutes, can break this upper trend line. Bitcoin can make a move out of this symmetrical triangle, and it's one thing to really keep an eye on because we're really getting close now to the apex of this symmetrical triangle. It is probably, from a macro look, one of the most important triangles to watch for, one of the most important patterns to watch for, and we've certainly been watching that on here. One case for Bitcoin to have a pullback, for a higher low in this area would be a setup to break through the apex eventually, right? But the setup would look very much like an inverse head and shoulders setup, and that could take some patience. But either way, my point is this: a breakout is probably coming very soon, and you need to be prepared for either scenario. A breakout quickly to the upside, right? Or a pullback. Nobody knows, and this might be news to you, literally nobody knows. No YouTuber, no Twitter person, no influencer in crypto knows what Bitcoin's going to do next. I hope that I can tell you, and I hope that you can understand my genuineness in saying that nobody knows, but you just have to be prepared. You have your portfolio prepared for either direction. So lastly, what I want to look at, I guess, on the short term is this. This is just to kind of really show you the consolidation as of recently, and this is kind of going back to the end of May or so, the last month. Bitcoin's just been trickling down. It is consolidating. It surely is consolidating. Kind of a falling wedge right now with a breakout target of around 10,500. That is notable because if Bitcoin hits that target, there's a lot of resistance there. It's this previous swing high back in the end of May, but if we zoom out on the charts, we had a lot of resistance right around that 10,500 in February of 2020. You see it there. And it's just been a very confluent area going all the way back here to last summer as Bitcoin kind of just hovered right around that, finally failing to stay above it. And we know what happened after that. So that $10,500 breakout from this falling wedge, if Bitcoin can break that, look how close to this upper trend line of this long-term symmetrical triangle we were just looking at. This is a 6-hour chart. I mentioned $11,000, the upper trend line. Bitcoin would be very close if Bitcoin hits that target of 10,500. That could be Bitcoin getting ready to make a very bullish move. That's what I'm looking at on the upside. I do want to just kind of go back here to the weekly chart and just point out some very important things. Number one, and this is really what we've been waiting for, looking for, especially as Bitcoin through the whole COVID situation fell all the way below the 200 moving average on the weekly. But not only that, the 50 moving average. Bitcoin is above the 50-week moving average here, and that is incredibly important. That's one thing I've been keeping an eye on, and you can see, yes, it is boring, it's consolidating, but it's above the blue line, that 50-week moving average. We know in a bear market, we see resistance there. There's the bear market, and Bitcoin fails to stay above it before bottoming out. What we want to see is consistent support for the bulls to continue into a bull market, right? We had that first show of support back in November as Bitcoin broke above. Now COVID happened, and that really kind of messed up some technicals, I think. I don't think Bitcoin would have had that swing low like that if it weren't for the pandemic, but it happened. But we're back above the 50-week moving average, very important. And the other thing I just want to point out is on this daily chart, and I'm actually just going to remove the drawings here. On the daily chart, you can see this. Bitcoin right now below the 50-day moving average. So that's really the first step. Bitcoin needs to get back above that. That's around $9,400. Again, that could happen in minutes. I tweeted a little bit ago and I said, really, this consolidation that's been happening has been very reminiscent of Bitcoin at the bottom of the bear market, really. And that's all the way back here. And it really is to me. And it's not always a bad thing if Bitcoin's consolidating a little under the 50-day moving average. It happened, and it was actually, oddly enough, a falling wedge below the 50-day moving average at the bottom of the bear market before actually continuing up to the upside, breaking above the 50 moving average on the daily, and then, continuing up. So that can happen in this situation here. I've mentioned multiple times that an accumulation area for me is if Bitcoin doesn't get above the 50 moving average on the daily. Right here at the 200 moving average is a support area that I'd be looking for. That could easily be a higher low for Bitcoin. as it continues up. That happens often in volatile but bullish environments. You can even just go to the last bull market, and that happened often. Bitcoin fell below the 50 moving average, but saw support above here, the red line, the 200 moving average. It actually happened a lot. So just be on the lookout for that. That's around $8,300. It's not my heaviest of buy zones, but it's certainly an accumulation zone for me and is definitely in play. My heavy buy zone is down here at the Fibonacci retracement, the swing low in March to the swing low that we're actually trying to put in now. But if I can get rid of this tool here and get the Fibonacci retracement, here it is. This is what it looks like. Swing low in March to a swing high. This green Fibonacci area down here, that's 6,300 down to 5,200. We can tweak this a little bit, get rid of some of that volatility in March, and now we're looking at maybe 7,000 down to 6,000. Very solid accumulation area if we get there, and even still, that could be a very bullish setup for Bitcoin. Wanted to do a quick update, everybody. This is my thought. These are my thoughts on Bitcoin right now. I'm not going to keep doing videos every single day when Bitcoin's trading sideways and not doing much. I don't have the time, and honestly, I think it's just boring. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did and you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. It really does mean a lot, and turn those notification bells on. I'll see you all in the next video. Have an awesome day, and God bless.